Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. And Ireland have just made history. A 32-22 victory against New Zealand has sealed the Test series against New Zealand in New Zealand, the first time in Ireland's history, just the third time in history overall that New Zealand have actually been beaten in a three-test series at home. What a game! What a series! What a special group of Irish players. And you could see what it meant to them. I mean, Peter O'Mahony just breaking down in tears on the side of the park. An incredible game for him, incredible series for him. But what a brilliant testament to rugby. What a brilliant advertisement for what this game can do. And I think what we are starting to really see is a new era where New Zealand are no longer the dominant force. I really do. I think that, we're looking at a side that I think a lot of teams will fancy beating. I think Australia will watch that game saying, we could beat this New Zealand side. I think Argentina will be fancying their chances. I think Ian Foster could very well be on the verge because the New Zealand side, especially in the first half, looked absolutely terrible. They were nowhere, absolutely nowhere. The second half, Ireland did have to weather a storm. The yellow card to Andrew Porter, we saw three tries being scored in the opening 20 minutes of the second half from New Zealand, and it looked like they were going to come back, and it looked like it was slipping away from Ireland. But you know what? Ireland then just held firm. They managed to turn the tide. Rob Herring came on, scored a try, and just what an incredible encounter. Quite a few contentious issues. For example, the yellow card to Andrew Porter. Head-on-head collision. Was it the same as last week? We saw a red card last week. Some people were saying that they should have seen a red card this week, and I do think the card made a big difference considering New Zealand did score two tries whilst Andrew Porter was off the park. So, yeah, but what a match. And I mean, it started in the perfect fashion like it has for Ireland the entire series. They went over in the third minute through Josh van der Fleer at the back of a rolling maul. New Zealand then cut the deficit down 2 points at the 22nd minute through a Geordie Barrett penalty. But Hugo Keenan then went in the 27th minute. A brilliant. Sorry, that was actually the 27th minute, Johnny Sexton with the 28th minute conversion. And the Islanders couldn't do anything wrong in the first half. The offload game, the running lines that we saw, playing a lot of nine. Johnny Sexton pulling the strings. We saw some really good tactical kicking. Ireland, as I said, they couldn't make a mistake. And when Robbie Henshaw went over in the 36th minute, beautifully worked move. And what I think was so impressive is Bundy Aki came in, who's a very hard-hitting, physical inside centre. But today we saw a whole different side of him. We saw his offload game. They knew that they were going to target Bundy Aki because he is the crash ball option. And all that did was open up a lot of gaps because when you're targeting your main ball carrier, it means that there are going to be gaps around there. And his offload game today, I thought, was superb. Ireland went in with a 22 points to 3 lead, 19-point lead, and you're thinking, surely that is enough. However, bang, RDCV at 43rd minute. Andrew Porter, yellow card in the 50th minute. I'm interested to know what you think. Do you think it should have been a red card? Down in the comments below. The Wayne Barnes said that the mitigation was that he absorbed the tackle in that he wasn't. So Andrew Porter wasn't moving forward, for example, taking momentum into the head clash against Brodie Retallick. And that was kind of the mitigation that moved from a red down to a yellow. What do you guys think? Do you think he should have been carded? I don't know. I think it's a bit touch and go. I think it is head-on-head collision, so it's difficult to argue why it wouldn't be a red card. But yeah, so I think that was a pretty contentious moment because when Andrew Porter left the park, and Kira Awani went over in literally the next play, 51st minute. Ireland managed to get a penalty in the 56th minute before Will Jordan might have scored the try of the season already. A penalty attempt from the halfway line from Johnny Sexton coming up just short. And then a couple of phases, and Will Jordan burst through a gap. He then rounded Johnny Sexton to go over in the corner, literally going from well within his 22 up to scoring the try. And you suddenly thought that could have been it. It was a 1-point game. The conversion was missed, but then Rob Herring came on and won it for them basically with a try in the 64th minute. Johnny Sexton converting it, and then it was the case of defend. And we also saw what could be potentially the best 10 minutes of rugby I've ever seen from Ty Byrne. 3 match-winning moments for him. Turnovers, penalties on the ground. He was absolutely everywhere today. And if you look at the stats, it was a very even game. But the New Zealand defence was very much found wanting a lot of the time. And I think that's been quite the strange thing to see about this New Zealand side. because they traditionally have, whilst they've always, maybe it's part of their game which I think has gone under the radar. They've always been electric on attack, but the defense has always been so solid. And they're very, I mean, just to concede 32 points, you have been well and truly breached as far as the Wolves are concerned. So if we look at some of the stats, though, 57% possession for New Zealand, of which 61% in the second half. They were the better side in the second half. There's no doubt. Ireland very much had to weather the storm. But territory-wise, 58% for New Zealand, 42% for Ireland. As I said, it was 60-40 in the second half. 3 tries to 4. But, yeah, I just think that this New Zealand defense wasn't good enough. Look, they beat a lot of defenders, as they characteristically would. The Irish defense probably also not particularly good tonight at times. But when you think that New Zealand had 78 gain line carries compared to Ireland's 42, Ireland had to make over 200, were asked to make over 200 tackles. They made 165, but they were asked to make over 200 tackles. So they missed 37 tackles, which is not good, but they were under the cosh. They were under the cosh for a large part of the game. And I thought that there were a couple of very important defensive moments. I thought Robbie Henshaw was very good in defense. But, yeah, New Zealand in that second half, I reckon of those 37 defenders beat, I reckon they all came in that 20-minute patch of play where it was just one-way traffic. And it kind of almost at one stage looked inevitable that New Zealand would actually go and win the match. So, apart from that, I thought the lines were pretty poor for New Zealand. They lost 4 lineouts. It was a bit better in the second half, but losing 4 lineouts, they were nowhere. They lost a scrum as well. So Ireland really did sort of win the set-piece battle. And you win the set-piece battle, you very often win the game. So, yeah, let me know what you thought about the game down in the comments below. I think some massive performances from Ty Byrne. Peter O'Mahony was fantastic. I thought that Dan Sheehan worked very hard. Johnny Sexton was very good. James Lowe had a great game. Hugo Keenan was fantastic. Robbie Henshaw, Bundy Aki worked really well. For New Zealand, I thought Akira Awani carried very strong. Sam Cane wasn't bad, but Ari Severe was basically trying to do it all himself. And he almost did. What a player he is. But yeah, let me know what you think about the game down in the comments below. Please do smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven. I'll chat to you soon.